Hi, Akshay. Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm. I completely lost track of time. I was working and I forgot about the classes.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not used to the morning timing yet. I'm used to the evening time. So I was like, okay, fine, and I sat. I didn't see it's 9:30 also. I completely forgot.
I woke up at 6 today.
Is it? I woke up at 4 today.
That's like your regular time.
No, I don't know. I happen to be touch with sleeping in the night for past few days, so I'm waking up early.
Oh, I slept at like 11. I woke up at 6.
Nice, nice. You have a purpose in life to get up early, man. I don't have that.
Oh, yeah, I had class, so I woke up.
I don't have that. I don't have.
You have to take class.
Today, yes, but otherwise, no. I can work in the night also. Where were, okay, we were in the.
Ma'am, we
Where is
discussed
it? Where is
different
it?
we discussed different organisms and how they respire, breathe
Mm-hmm.
through body surface, and then through box gills, horseshoe crab, book.
Mm,
Yeah,
not bad. So remove.
and then we discussed three types of larynx
Mm.
or larynx or pharynx.
Just pharynx,
Nasopharynx,
not larynx.
nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx.
Mm, mm,
And then like the nasopharynx and pharyngeal pharynx we discussed.
mm, mm.
And
So,
then we told lung bronchus, then bronchus will go to primary bronchiole, secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole will go to alveoli.
we stopped there, no?
Yeah,
No,
since I wasn't concentrating
we
enough.
will start with the this
Get lost.
one. It has been hectic.
And we should drink green tea, very good for health.
Sorry, what?
You should drink green tea, very good for health.
Oh, oh, why? Why?
Yeah, I'm drinking green tea now.
Oh, is it? Drink, drink. I am searching for this thing. Can you do one thing? Like by the end of the day, can you ping me for the PPT? I keep forgetting. You know,
Okay.
I remember in the class I have to give you. After the class, after some time, I'll remember. Then I'll get engaged with some other work, and I'll completely forget. So just ping me, okay? I'll send you the last two chapters. No big deal. Where is the this chapter? This also I will send. Till whatever we complete, I'll send.
I'll send off everything.
I won't send you prior whatever sessions we are going to do.
Why, ma'am? Don't worry, I'm not such a studious person to read and come. I don't remember what you teach
Guys,
class. How will I read?
I'll be using that PPT or not for the class.
Oh,
Yeah, if it is not something I feel it's needed, I won't use it. That's why. Okay, it's loading. Let it load. By the time, let me share the screen. I asked my mom to give me something to drink, and she didn't bother. I think.
green tea.
And now you're drinking and tempting. Amma, Amma, Amma. Mom is going to kick me out of the house. No, never mind.
I'm drink green tea, good for health.
Green tea. No, no. What is the tea called? Chamomile. That's how we pronounce it.
I don't know
There's a
that.
tea which relaxes you and de-stresses you and all. I've heard it a lot. So we were playing this. What is it called? Secret Santa, right?
Oh, so
Someone gifted me that particular tea set.
after my class, you need that tea that really stress.
What?
After my class, you need that tea for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is
Definitely.
all your stress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely need. No, but I thought those things won't work. But after I had that, is what like my insomnia has reduced.
Yeah.
So it's a good tea.
I have one tea from Singapore. It smells very good, like better than any perfume.
Uh-huh.
But then if you drink it, it's tasteless.
Ah.
It tastes like normal water only, but it's very good for health, they tell. But it smells very good.
Mm-hmm. I think where are we? This one only, no? Yes, this one
Mom, 1 second, I can't see the screen here.
only. Yeah, so this weekend I won't be there, okay?
Oh, New Year party.
I'm gonna sleep nicely at home. All stuck. Hello? I'm
Yes,
stuck.
ma'am.
It's frozen. You're frozen.
Ma'am, it says you're sharing screen. Hi,
Ah,
yeah, now I got. How do animals breathe in or take in O2, give out CO2?
okay, okay. I'm shifting it, but I like there are a lot of tabs open.
Yes, ma'am.
So, sikram. Okay. So, so basically, yeah, like as we saw, I think we saw hyaline cartilage last class.
Wait. Hi, Alan. Yeah, you told me about
The
difference between
C-shaped
breathing and
rings.
respiration.
Hmm.
Hyaline cartilage is in the this thing. What is it called? I forgot. Wait.
Yeah,
Trachea. The C-shaped rings that prevent collapsing of trachea.
correct. Yeah. So, and then I also told you that it's a tertiary bronchioles that branches and gives rise to the alveoli.
Alveoli, not bronchiole. Just
Exactly. Okay. Uh, we call this particular chapter as Bay.
what?
Yeah, like you can't each and every time type no, I'm doing this session, this session. So we have short form for everything. This is
Oh,
Bay,
oh, babe.
meeting
Before
and
anyone.
exchange. Yeah, Bay.
Oh, he's my bae.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you doing? I am with bae.
Yeah, I'm working on Bay. So there you go. Anyway, um, we finished all these things. Yes, epiglottis also. I told you what it is.
It
Yes,
is a cap.
yeah. Mm, So we will move to the alveoli part. See, I think vocal cords also we discussed. No, true cords, false
An
cords.
Adam's apple we discussed.
Yes, yes. This is what I said. Okay. So the branches, the final branch is the terminal branch, and that will only go and lead to the alveoli. And out of all the bronchioles, the thinnest would be the terminal bronchiole.
Bronchiole, okay.
Okay, ma. And the thing you have to remember is that they are basically the alveoli has a lot of blood supply
Hmm.
by when compared to other. See, what is the function of alveoli?
They increase surface for exchange of gases.
Exchange of gases is the function, not
Hmm.
increase the surface area. That's just it.
Alveoli increase
Additionally,
surface
that's
area
it.
for exchange of gases.
Yeah. So basically, the major function of alveoli is exchange of gases. Okay. Now, exchange of gases means there are two exchanges happening. One is between the alveoli and the external environment, and another is alveoli and internal environment of the body. Now, how is it like? See, our cells require oxygen. So that oxygen is carried from the alveoli to us via whom?
Uh, via like cell, like general blood.
Via blood. Yes.
Ah.
So, if there are no vessels, blood vessels around the alveoli, how will the diffusion of the gases happen?
It won't happen.
It won't happen. So, for that reason only, alveoli is extremely thin. Now, why is it thin? It's thin so that the movement is easier.
Hmm.
Okay. And the second thing is that it is highly vascularized. That means it has a lot of blood vessels. The reason is for the exchange of gases.
Hmm.
Okay. So I hope you know this, no? Arteries branches to arterioles,
Hmm.
and then that further branches to capillaries.
Hmm.
Then you that will form venules, and venules together will form veins.
Hmm.
So the thinnest branch of the blood vessel is called as capillaries.
Hmm.
So if you see this alveoli will be supplied extremely with a lot of capillaries.
So it's very
Okay.
thin.
Sorry?
It's very thin.
The capillaries are thin, yes. And even the alveoli is also thin.
Hmm.
We will see the structure of alveoli in detail, and we'll also see how this exchange of gases and all happen. That's what you're going to learn in this entire chapter, basically. Okay.
Oh yeah, we started the chapter, no?
Yeah. Just a second. Amma, Baliki 1,000 on the kodukuma. Yes, tell me. What were you saying?
For a second, I thought we were almost done with this chapter.
Uh,
And then I just realized, oh, we're still in this chapter.
yes. So this is what I said, alveoli. Okay. So alveoli is going to have a network of this. See, it's a conventional coloring method that blue means it's veins and red means it's arteries. But that doesn't mean the arteries and veins are in different color. They are the same
No,
color.
ma'am, they're in same color. Blood.
Yeah. I'm
Blood
just,
unites them.
yeah. Because of the deoxygenated oxygenated concept only, we have different color concepts here. Okay. So I'll just, I'm not going to go into the detail of this because anyway, in the third session or so, when we are discussing about how exchange of gases is happening, we'll learn about this in detail. So all that I want you to know is right now is that this alveoli is surrounded by capillaries, blood capillaries.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's a primary thing you need to know. Then the next one is, okay, so in simple terms, if you put the entire circulation of gases in the body, this is how it happens. So what happens is that normally the blood from alveoli is taken to the heart, and the heart will pump it to the rest of the body. Then whatever is remaining, the blood is taken from the tissues and brought back to the heart, and the heart sends it back to the alveoli.
Mm.
Okay, so why does this happen is because like the blood that is coming from alveoli is rich in oxygen.
That's what. We have double circulation.
Yes, double circulation. That's a
Oxygenated
good
blood
point.
goes into heart, deoxygenated blood.
Correct. Yes, but in this chapter we will not learn about circulation. We will learn about what causes the exchange of these gases. Okay, that's what we will be concentrating, not on the this one, like circulation. That is next chapter. Okay. Now, so I'm just skipping this part because we are not going to discuss it here. Anyway, let's see what question is this. What is this question?
Trachea.
That's a simple one. Okay. So, yeah, this is
Why
just,
does the guy look so weird, ma'am?
that's not a guy, that's a girl.
That's a girl, oh.
Uh,
Oh, lol. I thought that was a
so
guy.
this is just to show the movement of the particles, like see here. From the external through the nostrils, then it goes to the nasal passage. Nasal cavity opens into the nasopharynx, then goes to the
But this
oropharynx.
huge process happens in just milliseconds, no?
Yeah,
The taking oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood out of heart, respiring, inhaling
yeah.
oxygen, going to all the cells, carbon dioxide coming back, then
Mm,
pumping out. It all happens like this, no?
yeah. You don't even realize it, no.
Yeah, because we're breathing every second.
I know. Okay. So now, right now, where you can see the particles, no, those that is a trachea. So the next is the next portion where it is separating will be your primary bronchi.
And then secondary and then terminal.
Yes, this is a primary bronchi. Now, when it is going to the next part, will be the secondary bronchi. Secondary bronchi will further terminalize to tertiary bronchi or the bronchioles, basically, and that gives rise to the alveoli. Okay. Sharima. So that's exactly what is being shown here. So they wasted like a lot of time in this. Oh. And this is, so what we right now saw in the beginning was inhalation. The same process will go happen in the reverse manner for exhalation.
Terminal to secondary, secondary to primary, primary to
Yeah,
trachea, trachea to nasopharynx, nasopharynx to outside.
correct. Yes. So,
But
but the thing is,
air from our mouth also, no?
you can breathe out the mouth, and that is why no, because there is oropharynx, it's a common passage, no. So you
Ma'am,
can breathe in and
but they
breathe
say
out.
it's not good to breathe from your mouth.
Because you know the dirt particles will not be captured,
Oh.
and also when you're breathing through your nose, it says that the air gets warmer, and it is easier, if the air is a little bit at a higher temperature for the molecules to move here and there than your mouth. So that is also one theory here. Okay. So now this is just an introduction part. That's why I'm not going into the detail. Okay. But now we need to understand that the entire pathway that we saw, no, it can be divided into two parts. One is a conducting zone, another is a respiratory zone. So when I say conducting zone means it's just going to carry the air. Okay. Respiratory zone is where the exchange of gases happen. So starting from your nose to your alveoli, if you see, exchange of gases happens only at alveoli.
So that is the
Sorry?
respiratory. So that is the respiratory zone, and conducting
Yes.
zone is everything else.
Correct. Yeah. So the conducting zone will be the trachea, bronchioles, and primary bronchi and everything. Okay. So
And exchange respiratory zone is the alveoli.
exactly, because there is where exchange of gases happen. Okay. So the pathway can be divided into two parts: conducting zone and respiratory zone. Okay.
Respiratory.
Cool. Now, this is like a summary of how exactly what happens during the breathing. Okay. So first, when you're taking in air, okay, once the air goes inside, the next thing is there will be diffusion between the alveoli and the capillaries. And then what happens is the blood will be taken up. I mean, the blood will take up the gases and it will take to different parts of the body. Now, when I am talking about the gases, we are majorly going to focus on only oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay. And we will also see how oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported. It's not transported like that itself. There are some bindings and things that happens. So that we will see in
Biological
transport of
pathways.
gases. What?
There are biological pathways.
No, I don't want to say it like that way. It's not very complicated, simple only, but still. Okay. Then we will talk about how the exchange of gases happens between the tissue and the blood. Okay. And finally, how this entire cycle happens is what we will see. So we are not going to talk about circulation. The only thing that we are going to deal in this chapter is how the gases are transported and how this breathing happens. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Why is your video off?
Oh,
You think I can't see? You are lying already on the sofa and you'll sleep for it.
I'm not sleeping.
Okay, what is the answer for this?
Alveoli are located at the end of tertiary bronchioles.
Correct. Okay. Don't forget that. Now, the next question. Let's come to the structure of the lungs. Where are the lungs located?
Lungs are located in our chest cavity,
What is the chest cavity called?
thoracic cavity.
Correct. This is called thoracic cavity. Okay. So the outermost layer of the basically the lungs is covered by two layers. Okay. Like it's basically like a Oreo biscuit.
Ha!
Yeah, like see, suppose say I have a Oreo biscuit and then the lungs comes. Okay, so basically how it works is there will be an outer layer, there will be an inner layer, and in between that there will be a liquid layer, and that liquid layer is your chocolate. I mean, what the white color thing.
That movie ad, it will come on black colored lungs, they will squeeze and they will tell you should not smoke. Have you seen that ad, ma'am? They will
Yeah, yeah, I know. But
squeeze it like one sponge. I always thought that was actually a sponge.
oh no, no,
I never knew they took an actual lung and squeezed it and made it like that.
yeah, okay, no,
Ma'am, but that is impossible, ma'am. It's probably one fake ad.
no, no, it's possible.
Like one glass he squeezed.
Yeah, it's possible.
People have like that in my
Your
body.
lungs is like so huge, okay? I hope you know this analogy. If you spread the lungs, it will be equivalent to a tennis court.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
kidding. The lungs is that is why alveoli is so special because of the foldings. It's very high foldings. That's the reason why the big alveoli is there inside the lungs. Okay, so the thing is that like over a period of time, the tar gets accumulated so much that it really, your lungs becomes like a sponge where it keeps absorbing the tar.
Oh. So they squeeze it and it will become pink again.
It won't be gone is gone. It's basically absorbed into the. It's not like washing vessels, okay? There is something on the vessel, you'll take soap and wash it. Oh, that means it's so easy. But yeah, there is a surgery wherein the lungs are cleaned.
Oh.
Yeah, but again, it is invasive. It's not like laparoscopic or something, which is done non-invasively. It's completely like open surgery. So it's very risky. It has its own risk.
They'll put one big.
They won't. There is a method to clean it. I'm not very sure, but how they do it. But I know that there is a surgery like that, and I don't know the name. But yeah, there is one.
Ma'am, if people can clean
Huh?
lungs, why do they die of cancer?
Why do they die? Who?
Like so many people die of cancer, no?
Yeah, because cancer cells start eating your normal cells. No.
Oh. So
Yeah,
people
like
who have
your
cancer will
body.
have black lungs.
What?
Some people won't get cancer but will have black lungs.
Some people won't get cancer. Oh, like see, if someone is a continuous smoker and their lungs is like filled with tar, there are
Hmm.
two things that can happen. One is they can get lung cancer.
Hmm.
Okay, and another thing is that because the lungs are filled with this and they're continuously smoking, they're exposed to more of carbon monoxide.
And they'll
Okay.
die.
Yeah, and carbon monoxide binds with your hemoglobin faster than carbon dioxide or oxygen.
So instead of carbon dioxide letting out, you'll give carbon monoxide.
Not letting out. I'm trying to tell you that it's they're best friends. Okay, you can't separate them. So
Hmm.
once you expose them to with each other, no, gone. No one can interfere. Their relationship is very strong. Okay, so where over a period of time, what happens is the carbon monoxide will start binding with the oxygen and goes to all the cells. Now, when the cells don't get, instead of oxygen, I'm telling,
Hmm.
not instead of carbon dioxide,
Hmm.
instead of oxygen, from the alveoli, the carbon monoxide will bind, and then that will go to the cells. And once it goes to the cells, cells won't get oxygen, automatically they will die. No,
Oh, so then you'll die.
then slowly, that is called carbon monoxide poisoning.
This guy got no. Sanjay Dutt got.
Yeah, and one more thing that can happen is that it will affect the heart.
Oh yeah, they tell it increases blood pressure and you'll die.
Yeah. So everything is connected. No. So your lungs fail, almost everything in your body fails. That's why it leads to death. But it's not a sudden thing, it's a prolonged thing. Your body tries your level best to defend it, but again, it's harmful is harmful. You can't do anything. Coming back to this, okay? So when you talk about lungs, so you have two lungs, and one lung has two lobes, and another lung has three lobes.
Hmm.
So basically, why that difference is coming is because in our body has adjusted all the organs in such a way that other organs fit. So on which side of your body does the liver come?
Right.
On the right side, right? So therefore, because of the presence of the liver and all those things, the right side has two lobes, the left side has three lobes.
Hmm.
Okay, because of the space difference. So lungs, if you take, your right lung has two lobes and left lung has three lobes. Okay, and the outermost layer of the lungs is called as parietal pleura.
Hmm.
Okay, then the inner layer which is in contact with the lungs is called as visceral pleura.
So outermost layer is parietal pleura.
Sorry,
Inner
yeah, outermost layer is parietal visceral. Yeah, correct. Yes. And the cavity between these two is called
layer.
as pleural.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. And the pleural cavity is filled with a fluid called as pleural fluid.
That is the fluid.
That is a fluid. Okay, the reason is because it will avoid any sort of friction and protect the lungs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that is about the layers that are surrounding the lungs. Okay, so we have a parietal pleura, visceral pleura, and between
And middle, pleura.
pleural cavity.
Okay.
And the fluid that is there in the
So
pleural cavity.
left lung has 3 lobes, right lung has 2 lobes.
Yes, and sometimes what happens is this pleural cavity, if it ruptures, the fluid gets accommodated in the thoracic cavity, and that leads to another problem. Okay.
Oh,
Why is it okay? So now when we talk about the lungs, so the lungs is basically located, as I said, in the thoracic cavity, and it is not even. One is big, one is small. The reason is because why?
one has 2 lobes, one has 3 lobes.
Yes, yes, and that is because of the placement of the this one. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know what is coelom. Do you know what is coelom?
Mhm.
You know or no?
No.
You don't know. Okay. So coelom is something that you have studied already. You learned about germinal layers, remember?
Hmm.
Germinal layers, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. Yeah. So what happens is that mesoderm and your internal body cavity, there is a gap between that, and that gap is called as coelom. So here, if
Oh yeah, I've learned this somewhere.
you have,
Coelom is a gap. It's like a
you have,
cavity.
you have. Okay. So you know what is elementary canal, right?
Huh.
So the elementary canal will run through the center of your body,
Hmm.
and your body wall and the gap between the elementary canal, that gap is called as coelom.
Oh.
Okay. So in this coelom only, all the other organs and everything is fixed. Okay. Now, when you talk about the protection when it comes to your lungs, it is a rib cage.
When what?
Rib cage.
Huh. Yeah, that we know. Lung is covered by rib cage.
Yes. So, in the locomotion chapter, we will be studying about all these bones in detail.
Hmm.
But for now, I'll give you a rough outlook about it. Okay. So, your body backside is the vertebral column, correct?
Hmm.
Yes. So, in the front, your chest region here, it's always hard, correct?
Yeah, that's the rib cage.
Yeah, that's not the rib cage. That center midline is basically called sternum.
Oh, this line is sternum, but the side is rib cage.
Yeah, the side is the sternum along with the ribs form the rib cage.
Hmm.
Okay, so the middle portion is called the sternum, and the sternum has 3 parts: the body part, head part, and the tail part, which we will learn in the locomotion chapter. Okay, so for now we just need to focus on what is the purpose of this ribs. Okay, the first purpose of the ribs is protection, majorly. Bless
Sweet.
you.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now when you talk about while you're breathing, okay, even your rib cage also moves. Now, how does this rib cage move? It's because of the muscles that are present in between the ribs. They are called as intercostal muscles. What are they called?
Intercostal muscles.
Yes. So when you're breathing in or breathing out, these intercostal muscles also contract and relax. So that is why even your rib cage also moves. Now the
Okay.
next question should be: so what if the rib cage doesn't move? What will happen?
Hmm.
If the rib cage doesn't move, there will be no enough space for the air to come in and go out.
Hmm.
Okay, so that is the reason why rib cage is like having muscles in between. And what are those muscles called?
What?
Rib cage has muscles in between, okay, which helps in its movement. What are those muscles called?
Uh, don't know.
I just told you.
Wait.
Yes,
Sternum is center.
yes. I told you the muscles name. Are you
Dia-
paying attention or not?
Diaphragm.
I never talked about diaphragm.
Wait. Now only you told no one name.
Hmm.
Wait. The center part, the hard part is sternum. And you told when we were breathing, these rib cage also expands
Mm.
with the presence of some muscle.
How does it? Yes, that muscle's name is what I'm asking.
Oh, wait. Ma'am, tell the name again, no?
Intercostal muscles.
Intercostal muscle. It is not there.
It's not here.
Okay, but then I have to note it down.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay. Now, why is it that it's all in this particular shape? Okay. The reason is the rib cage also there is a particular shape, right? The
Hmm.
reason is because again, as I said, the rib cage has to move, and rib cage is going to give you space for the air while you breathe in. Okay. So for that, anatomically, it will be easier if it is in this dome shape. And also, here you have the diaphragm.
Hmm.
So to accommodate everything is why nature has designed it in such a way. I'm telling you, the best architecture is the person who actually designed our body.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't know who did it, but yes, it's an amazing thing to say. Because if you go in depth of all these things, each and everything has a reason why it has the shape, why
Hmm.
it is in this color, why can't it be some other color, everything. Okay. Now I'll quickly tell you about the ribs here. Okay. So the ribs generally will be attached in the front and at the back. Okay. At the back, it will be attached to the vertebral column. In the front, it will be attached to the sternum.
Hmm.
We have 12 pairs of ribs.
Hmm.
How many pairs?
12.
12 pairs.
So
But
20.
yeah, in that, up to the seventh pair, if you
Hmm.
see, they will be attached in the front to the sternum, back to the vertebral column.
Hmm.
Eighth, ninth, 10th. At the back, they will be attached to the vertebral column. But at the front, if you see, they will be fused with the seventh rib.
Ma'am,
Can
so
you
1
see?
to 8 will be fused to the sternum.
Yes. 1
And
to 7 will be fused to the
uh,
sternum.
8th, 9th, 10th will be fused to the
Seventh
7th one. And in the back side to the vertebral column.
vertebral column. Okay. So that is why 1 to a seventh rib is called true rib.
Hmm.
Whereas 8, 9, 10 is called false rib.
False rib.
Yes. And 11 and 12, it will not be attached to anything in the front.
Hmm.
It will look like it's floating. So it's called floating rib.
Hmm.
Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is the arrangement of this entire rib cage. Okay. Now, eh, eh, hang it. Very nice. Thanks, ma. Din. Okay. So this is just a
Hmm.
summary of what we learned till now. Okay. So we have the lungs, 2 lobes, 3 lobes.
Yeah.
Outer layer of the lung is called
Outer layer is parietal,
uh,
then the inner is visceral. In between pleural, this thing cavity is there that contains pleural fluid.
uh, understood. Okay. So with that, we are done with the first session. Okay. Now we'll move on to the
Learning.
next session.
Keep learning.
Yeah. It is great in this session to remember because you anyway know it.
Ma'am, you're muted, I think. I can't hear you. Now I can hear you.
What?
No, no, I thought you were muted. Now I can hear you.
I can't hear you. What?
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, what?
Oh, I thought you were muted because in between I couldn't hear you.
Oh, no, no, no. I want you to sit straight. If you sit like this, definitely another few minutes you will sleep off.
Ma'am, no, ma'am, I never sleep.
It is not about you not sleeping. You will end up losing your attention. That's why.
Any question you ask me from today's session, often.
You're very comfortably sitting. No, it happens like that. You will feel like you're listening, but somewhere you will miss some important information.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Back is paining me. I don't
I
know why.
have been there, okay, so I know. Not very long ago, so I know how it is.
My back is paining me. I don't know why.
Oh, your back is pain. You can sit straight and lie your back behind. You don't need to go like this.
Okay, ma'am.
That is not going to help you, sir, for your back pain. Keep away back pain. Huh? 90 and far better. Let me open the session 2.
I
In this
don't know.
chapter, I think the 4th or the 3rd session I designed.
Only today my back is paining. I don't know.
What?
Only today my back is paining. I don't know.
Uh-huh. Be careful.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
starts like that only.
I should not become. I should not walk with one stick by the time I'm 30.
Uh-uh.
Ma'am, did you see
Oh, says it's too large to open. Open with
Amitabh Bachchan died of?
what?
Amitabh Bachchan died 20 minutes back.
Who?
Amitabh Bachchan.
What?
And I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
What?
joking.
Why will you joke about someone's death? Are you a sadist or what?
No, ma'am, for fun.
I think so, you are. You don't joke about someone's death. Okay.
I don't know how Sanjay Dutt is still fighting cancer after how much he did.
Yeah.
I thought he would have died by now.
Why
No,
do you want to kill of people like this, right?
no, ma'am. Like how much he's done. Have you watched that movie? For that, at least, I don't know how he's surviving with treatment.
It depends, it depends on each and every person's body.
Yeah, they say whatever you do, like where he that time when he was from 2023, he did drugs and all. It won't
Mm.
affect him that time. It'll affect him like 30, 40 years later.
Mm.
Correct me, man. That cancer
I hope
mutation.
you don't follow that path anyway to experiment it.
No, no. I'm not going to become Sanjay Dutt. I have to become doctor.
Doctors are
I'm
the
not becoming
first people to do everything.
I'm not becoming Kabir Singh also. I have to
You're not
become
becoming a.
Kabir Singh also.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Once you get in, you'll understand how the world is. Why is it that I'm getting annoyed with this PPT thing? Oh,
Ma'am, but is it the cancer mutation only comes after some 20, 30 years?
not necessary.
Oh.
Generally, yes, but not
No, but
compulsorily.
Sanjay Dutt supposedly stopped everything, no, after he went to jail and came back.
Uh,
Now he's getting cancer.
it depends, right? Depends on how the body is. I told you, this is one big hell of a magic bottle or something.
The people who don't smoke only get cancer, it seems.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And I'm
Uh,
going to become oncologist. I should never get cancer.
what is wrong with you? Why are you so pessimistic in the morning?
No, I'm an oncologist, so I should treat people with cancer.
That's the long way. First, let's focus on getting into. Okay. Okay. Now, see, I always, I don't know. You know this concept called Boyle's law.
What boy? What? Who's law?
Boyle's law.
It's in physics, oh.
Yeah.
Just tell the concept, I'll tell you if I know it.
Okay. The concept is very simple. Volume and pressure are inversely proportional to each other.
Ah, yeah, that. Oh, Boyle's law. Yes, I know this.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. That is exactly the same principle that is applied into your breathing also.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. So basically, what happens is that suppose imagine this to be your rib cage. Okay, and this is your diaphragm. Okay, so when you are basically breathing in, okay, what is going to happen inside is that this rib cage will move outward. How will it move?
Outward, the volume of lung will increase.
Wait, don't rush. Step by step, because questions from this area comes. That's why I'm going step by step. Okay, so the rib cage will move outwards. Fine. The diaphragm is normally dome shaped, no? So when you start to inhale, slowly, 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 this diaphragm basically goes like this downwards. Okay. So at the end of your inhalation, your diaphragm would be completely flat. Understood? So now what is going to happen is, when you're pushing the rib cage out and your diaphragm is going down, there's so much of space in the center. Yes or no? For the lungs to also expand. So now the lungs will also expand. So the surface area or the volume within the lungs will increase. When the volume increases, okay, pressure will be what?
Volume increases, fullness.
Pressure will decrease. So the pressure of the gas within the lungs is lower when compared to that of your atmospheric pressure. So definitely, as per the law of diffusion, what should happen?
From atmosphere to this thing, it will come.
Yes, higher concentration to lower pressure concentration. Yes. So that is how the air is getting into your body. Okay. So during inhalation, if they ask you mechanism of inhalation, what are the processes? Your rib cage is pushed outward. Your diaphragm is
flattened.
Yeah, your diaphragm, you can say your diaphragm contracts or it is pushed downwards. When I say it's pushed downwards, it's contraction of the diaphragm. And when then due to the increase in the volume, the pressure of the gas decreases, as a result of which air from the outer moves into the inner. Now, the exact opposite happens in the exhalation. What will happen? Tell me.
So first, the diaphragm will expand.
Our diaphragm now will not expand.
Volume of lungs will decrease.
How?
We are blowing out, no?
So inhalation you understood, no? Exact opposite will only happen, no?
Yeah, volume of lungs will increase, pressure will decrease. Volume of lungs will decrease, pressure will increase. So from internal pressure will be more, atmospheric will be less. So air will move out and diaphragm will expand and come back to normal position.
You should not use the term expand there. You should say relax.
Okay.
When I say expansion or contraction, it means the same.
Okay.
Okay. So when I say the diaphragm is expanding from a dome shape, it will go to flattened shape. Okay. So now it will come back to its. So at the end of your exhalation, what is the shape of the diaphragm? This was a question that was asked. You should say dome shape.
Dome. Ma'am,
Exhalation.
why are we yawning?
Why what?
Why are we yawning?
Take MBBS. Why are we yawning? Okay, see, I have heard this, that when our body requires a lot of oxygen, okay, but you don't have enough oxygen within your body, we yawn so that more amount of oxygen can be taken in. Okay, so that yawning is basically, we see it as a sign of your body being tired, no, but it's a way of your body to take in more of oxygen. Okay, so that is a mechanism. That's why we yawn.
So I'm not yawning because I'm sleepy right now. My body just needs more oxygen.
No. There's no enough oxygen in your body, so your body is tired, and that is what is making you sleepy.
So how do I get? That's why they tell you when you run, you'll lose your.
Yeah, and when you eat also, after you eat, you feel sleepy. No, that's because your body uses your body uses all the oxygen to digest the food. Okay, so there is no enough oxygen to undergo respiration and give you energy.
So in school, if I yawn and someone's like, "Go, why are you so sleepy?" I'll be like, "Ma'am, my body just needs oxygen."
Yeah, I don't think so. Anytime soon you will have that chance to
Ma'am,
say.
we have school.
You have school from when?
Yeah, we are from Jan 1st. Jan 3rd or 4th. It starts Monday.
4th is a Sunday.
First is Friday. 4th is Monday.
Okay, if you have school, then how will you attend the class?
But I'm not going now.
Why?
It's consensual, they told.
It what?
It's consensual.
Okay. How will you pass them?
Ma'am, no, we have to go to school for pre-boards and practicals. Pre-boards we can write from home only. And practicals, I don't know what they'll do about that. Many people told no because everyone is scared. Because RR Nagar, where my school is, was once the highest corona case in Bangalore. So everyone is scared to go to
Very
my
nice.
school.
Very
In
nice.
one day, ma'am,
Cool.
that one area used to get 200 to 300 cases in one day. Literally everyone in that
Damn.
area got corona at least once, I feel. Every street used to be barricade. Like there used to be barricades on both sides of the street because more than 2, 3 houses in that street get means they quarantine the entire street. So if you have to,
Okay.
if you order groceries, you have to come till the end of your street. That barricade will be there. From that barricade, you have to pick it
Ah,
up, give them money, and go.
okay. Cool. Very nice.
So
So don't go.
every,
You'll
but we
fall
have
sick.
board practicals. That's what I don't know what to do.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
they're like
I,
practical board exam won't be cancelled. But then they tell going to school and practicing practicals is consensual. So I don't know how many people are going to practice.
mm, I really don't know. I feel sorry for your batch. Anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
12th grade last year, we won't even have farewell. Now from
Farewell
that,
video. That is the last part of your college, actually school life. You're going to miss that.
and now, ma'am, that's only if we go to college. Or else one more year we'll chill.
Mm.
But
Okay.
since Pooja ma'am is
Fine.
helping me, I will get into
Ah,
one bomb medical college.
day.
Christ Medical College, Vellore.
Okay.
Only
Fine.
6 seats
Let's
per
come back.
unit.
Let's come back to stop.
Okay.
So listen, whatever I said right now,
Mm,
I'll give it to you in the PPT form, and also in this session, intercostal muscles is mentioned in
mm,
the PPT. Okay. Then, like there will be a term that you generally see in the questions: negative pressure, positive pressure.
mm,
Okay. So, what is that concept is during inspiration, where is the
mm.
pressure higher?
External.
So that is positive. So where will be the negative pressure?
Lungs.
So within the lungs, negative pressure. And during expiration,
Within the lungs, positive. Outside the lungs, negative.
got the concept? Okay. Now there are two types of breathing. Okay. Abdominal breathing is one type. Okay. So when we talk about abdominal breathing, it's the normal breathing that you do, wherein the diaphragm moves.
Mm,
Okay. So that is one type of breathing. Another breathing is thoracic breathing.
mm,
So when this thoracic breathing happens is, see, when you do a heavy exercise and all, no, you breathe
mm.
faster.
When we do heavy exercise, yeah,
Why do you breathe faster?
because not enough oxygen.
Yes, not enough oxygen. No. So that is why you breathe faster. Now, if only the diaphragm is responsible for that breathing, there will be no enough space. So
Mm,
what will happen is your intercostal muscles also will contract faster and the rib cage also will move. So that type of a breathing is called as thoracic breathing.
oh.
So two types of breathing. Your normal breathing is called abdominal breathing. It's
Mm,
caused by the diaphragm.
mm,
And thoracic breathing is under emergency situations, and who's responsible primarily for it is your intercostal muscles.
mm,
So understood the two types of breathing.
mm,
Okay. So since your normal breathing is also called as quiet breathing.
mm.
Why quiet breathing?
Because you can't even hear it.
I mean, yeah, it is not like you're not palpitating. You're doing it slow and you don't even recognize it. Okay. So this is all about your this one. Okay. Yes. One more fact I wanted to tell you. So cheetahs run faster, right?
Mm,
Now the reason why they are able to run faster is not they have a good body structure. They can leap and all those things. But apart from that, they have a high lung capacity.
mm,
Okay, that is the reason why they are able to run faster.
mm.
Okay. So with that, we will start with the lung capacities and lung volumes. So we have completed the structure of your respiratory system.
Mm.
Okay. Then we completed what is the breathing process, mechanism of breathing. Now we will see lung volume and lung capacity. So with that, we can complete today's class. Fine.
Mm.
Okay. Let me just share my PPT here. So what is the difference between lung volume and lung capacity? What do you mean by volume? What is capacity?
Capacity is volume.
No, capacity is not volume. They are different.
Mm.
Okay, I'll tell you a small example. See, for like when you're eating food, say for example, you're ordering one biryani. Okay, you are eating currently one, or let's say two biryanis maximum, but your stomach has the capacity to eat even three biryanis.
But we
So
start.
how much? Yes, how much you are eating is basically the volume it
Mm.
can hold.
But how much
But
capacity?
yeah, but how much? It is not necessary that what is going in it's its capacity. It can be more than that.
Mm.
That's the difference. So same way with lung. Okay,
Mm.
the amount of air, the volume of air, the amount of air we breathe in, breathe out is the volume. But how much that particular lung can hold is its capacity.
Mm.
But we have different lung capacities and lung volume. Okay. Now, how questions from this area comes is the numbers are very important. Like
Mm.
how much is the volume? Like say for example, how much is the tidal volume
1500 to
or residual
1800
volume?
ml.
Huh?
1500 to 1800 ml.
Yeah. So what I would say is like some places here and there values will change, like or 100 up and down. So it's better to stick to the value that is given in your NCRT. So if you're referring some book and you see a little bit different value, don't go by it. Go by your NCRT value.
What is that spirometer?
Oh, this is basically a lung function test meter, spirometer. It tells you about how much, like, your capacity of your lung is.
So what? All I have to do is inhale, exhale.
Yeah, you just need to blow into it.
For however long I can, or just one blow.
It's actually, it looks like just a blowing machine. No,
Mm.
it's not like that. It's a little hard. Okay. Like, there'll be a little force that you have to apply. And it is for a few minutes you have to do that. And that will show that how much it will count how much is your capacity, and it will show you.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's called the lung function test. Okay. And the device is called spirometer. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So as I said, lung volume is amount of air that are going inside, and how much it can is the lung capacity.
Mm.
Fine. Okay. So like that spirometer you saw, right?
Mm.
It can actually generate a graph like your ECG, no?
Mm.
Same way for your lungs also, it can generate a graph.
Mm.
So when you're breathing normally, okay, this would be the graph.
Mm.
Okay. Now, what will happen is this normal breathing, that is inhale, exhale, that you're doing, no, that would be your tidal volume.
Mm.
Okay. So the graph for the tidal volume is the same as the previous one because it's one and the same. So tidal volume means the volume of air that you're inspiring or expiring during normal respiration.
500 ml.
Yeah, you're not like when you do yoga and all, you take deep inhale, deep exhale and all. No, that time you can't say tidal volume. Normally, when I'm talking to you right now, I'm breathing, right? That is tidal volume. And how much it is?
500 ml.
500 ml. Okay. So, like, if you talk about, like, say, the number of breaths you're counting it for, then multiply into it, you will get on an average for a healthy person. So that is what is the 6,000 to 8,000 ml. Okay. So basically they calculated this particular graph for around 12 to 16 breathings per minute. You asked me, know how much time they do that for.
Mm.
So if they're doing it for 1 minute, they can breathe like around 12 to 16 times.
If it's less than 12 times,
Sorry?
if someone breathes less than 12 times,
That means it's not regular breathing.
If more than 16 times?
That is also not regular breathing. There's something wrong.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. But the sadder part is if it is low, that means there is something wrong with the lungs. Terribly wrong with the lungs, which has to be this one. Even if they are breathing faster, okay, there are chances that maybe they have a higher lung capacity or something. But again, that also is linked to
Wait, 12
several
to
other
17 times
problems.
means breathing means one inhalation and expiration.
Sorry.
Both, like not only breathing it out, taking
Yes,
it in
when I
and breathing it out is one, counted as one together.
correct. Yes. So when we say breathing, it's both inhalation and exhalation. And during a regular breathing, the amount of volume of air that goes into your lungs is called as a tidal volume.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, which is 500 ml.
Amount of air inspired or expired during normal breathing is tidal volume.
Yes, it's 500 ml.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we go to when you take in deep breath,
Mm.
then the graph would look like this.
That is
Okay.
also tidal volume.
Can you see the graph?
Yes, ma'am. Like this, suddenly it's going up.
Yes, correct. So that when you're taking a deep breath in, the amount of air that you breathe in extra, that is called as inspiratory reserve volume. Okay. So when you're forcing yourself to take a deep breath, you will take a little bit extra air than the normal air. No, that extra air that you're taking in, the volume is called as inspiratory reserve volume. Okay. Because it is extra, we call it as reserve volume. And since you're getting it while you're inhaling, it's inspiratory reserve volume. Is that clear? Yes. What is the value for it?
2,500 to 3,000 ml.
Yes, 2500 to 3000 ml. Now,
Right.
after that, you can come back to your regular breathing. So that means your wave will look like this.
That is normal breathing.
Yeah, this will be 500 ml for every breath. Okay. Now, what is going to happen? I am going to forcibly exhale. Okay. So when I forcibly exhale, what is going to happen is it is that particular volume is called expiratory reserve volume, and it is less than that of your inspiratory reserve volume.
Mm.
So the graph goes downwards like this.
Mm.
Okay. So your normal volume is tidal volume. Force fuller if you're taking extra, that is inspiratory reserve
1,500 to
volume.
2,000.
Sorry. Yes,
1,000.
2500
Mm. And
to 3000.
okay. Okay. And then expiratory reserve is 1,000 to 1,100.
Correct. Yes. Then residual volume. So after you forcefully exhale also, some amount of air will be left out in your lungs.
Mm.
That volume is called residual volume.
Mm.
Okay.
And total volume something will be there, no?
I'm coming. Wait. Don't jump. How much is the residual volume?
It is equal to the expiratory reserve volume.
Yeah. No, no. You can't say expiratory reserve volume and residual volume are the same. No, no, no.
They're not the same, but the value is equal.
The value is same, but the this one is not the same. No, the
Ah,
value is not same.
almost 1,100 to okay, okay.
Ah, don't think it is same. Why I'm telling you is this is where you get confused in the options. They don't ask the other volumes. They generally tend to confuse you with residual volume and expiratory reserve volume. Okay. So when you talk about residual volume, after you forcefully breathe out, the amount of air that is left out in your lungs. Okay. So out of all the volumes we learned, the only normal volume is a normal breathing rate is what? Tidal volume.
Tidal volume, 500
The
ml.
rest all are forcibly exhaling or forcibly inhaling. Okay. What is the difference between residual volume and expiratory reserve volume?
Residual volume is the volume of air left in the lungs after forceful expiration.
Okay.
And then expiratory reserve volume is the amount of air that can be expired by forceful expiration.
Amount of extra air.
Extra air that can be expired by forceful expiration.
Very good. Okay. So that much only is lung volume.
Hmm.
Now we come to what you said is total lung capacity, not
It is
total lung volume.
total lung capacity. That is tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume.
Total lung capacity would be everything together.
Tidal volume
Uh,
plus inspiratory reserve volume
Mm.
Correct? No, something like that.
Let's see. Okay. Fine. You got this graph?
Mm.
Right? Okay. It's not in your portion, but still, it's just for your understanding. Since we spoke about spirometer.
Mm.
Okay. And the reverse one shows expiration, up one shows inspiration.
Inspiration.
Okay. Then yes, lung capacity, inspiratory capacity, amount of air you can inspire.
Ah, that's what correctly I told. No, total volume, tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume.
You told for total lung capacity.
Sorry, inspiratory capacity.
How much amount of air your lungs can inspire? That would be your normal breathing plus the extra breathing. That's
Ma'am,
correct.
it says maximum volume of air that can be breathed. Correct.
Correct. No. So same way, expiratory capacity would be what?
To tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume.
Correct. Yes. Now, so like we don't call it as expiratory capacity. We call it as functional residual capacity. Why functional residual capacity?
Because
Okay. So inspiratory capacity means we are calculating the amount of air that is there in the lungs, which you have taken in normally as well as forcibly. Okay. But when I'm talking about expiration, I need to talk about the air that I have. Like, what is the point in talking about the air we left out? We need to talk about the air that is there in the lungs. No. So after a forceful expiration, the air that is remaining in the lung is called as what volume?
expiratory residual volume.
Residual volume, correct? And the amount of air that you breathe out forcibly, that is called as what?
The amount of air that will be expiratory reserve volume.
So you add that both, you will understand what is the capacity of air that can remain inside your lungs. That is called as functional residual capacity. Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Understood? Okay. So inspiratory capacity is what?
Your tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume.
Okay. And what is functional residual capacity?
Expiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume.
Okay, good. Now, vital capacity. So, vital capacity is the maximum volume that you can have after a forced expiration.
So that is expiratory reserve plus inspiratory reserve plus tidal volume.
Yes. Okay. So, in this case, I can also say it is inspiratory capacity plus your expiratory reserve volume, no? Correct only, no, that is. So, after I breathe out forcefully, maximum amount of air I can take it.
Or functional residual capacity plus tidal volume.
Functional residual capacity, yeah. Functional residual capacity.
ERV plus TV is functional residual capacity.
Hey, ERV plus RV is functional residual volume. That's why I kept telling you.
Oh.
See here, it's RV, not TV.
So it is ERV plus RV.
Yeah. See, residual means remaining. Okay. So why will I talk about the inhalation? Tidal volume means inhalation also will come in place. No. So we are not going to talk about inhalation at all when you're talking about residual. It's only exhalation. Remember this. Okay. Now vital capacity is how much air that you can breathe in, maximum amount of air you can breathe in. After a forceful respiration. That is the difference between your vital capacity and inspiratory capacity. Okay. So inspiratory capacity plus your ERV will give you the vital capacity. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then total lung capacity will be addition of all the volumes. Okay. So this will be your final graph of the spirometer. Anything with this? So like how in ECG you can find out whether there's something wrong with heart. Using this you can find out if there is something wrong with the lungs. Is it clear? Yes. So this is a summary of it. I think if we able. So please remember the formulas. Okay, it's very important.
Ma'am, I think you tell me the last 3 slides for this entire PPT.
You want me to repeat this, sir?
No. Like instead of sending the whole PPT, in this whole PPT, we only learned the last 3. No, we skipped the first half.
Yeah, I know. I'll cut it out and send.
No, you can just send the last 3. like let's revise part. Because everything is there in one. No, it is not one slide, one volume.
Understood. Yeah. I think I'll send you the PDF itself.
Hmm.
I'll cut out the unnecessary part from the PDF. I think
Hmm.
that's better. Okay. Yes. Now, lung volumes.
Ma'am, 1 second. My teacher is calling
Jing,
me.
jing, 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 jing. Mm.
Hello, sir. Tell me. Okay, sir. 11:15. No. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Okay. Um, yes. So here what they have done is we know the lung volumes, no?
Hmm.
The average we know, right? So they took the maximum average of it and then they calculated what would be the capacities.
Hmm.
Normally they don't ask the capacity value. What they ask is your lung
Range.
volume.
Lung volume range.
Yeah. So you don't need to remember this value. If
Hmm.
you know this particular value, that is the TV, ERV values and all, you can itself calculate the capacity value. No, got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's see the question. What is the
Favorite one.
answer?
Vital capacity of lungs is TV plus IRV plus ERV.
Vital capacity means amount of air that you can breathe in.
Breathe in after forceful expiration.
So ERV will come, IRV will come, and also
TV. TV.
TV will come. Yes,
First option.
yes, correct. With conscious effort, one can
Mm, empty the lungs completely.
impossible. There's something called as a dead volume or a dead space inside your lungs. Okay, that particular amount of it's like this. You drink from water bottles, no?
Mm,
How much ever you try to empty the last, there will be a little bit of amount of water still sticking onto the surface, no?
mm.
Same is with your lungs. Okay, the air, how much ever you try to breathe out, your lungs is never going to get empty.
Okay, then breathe out air through eustachian tube.
You know what eustachian tube is?
No, I forgot.
Okay, your eustachian tube is your middle ear is there, no?
Hmm.
Your middle ear opens into the throat region.
Ah. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
it's connected by eustachian tube. We learned in digestion chapter.
yes, correct, yes. So that is the eustachian tube, and
Yeah,
you
we
can't
can.
breathe out through the eustachian tube. Impossible.
Like that, if you do, it will come. No. Uh, breathe out air without. Oh,
Why is that? Because your normal respiration is what?
what? Normal respiration is taking in
Your
air.
abdominal respiration and thoracic respiration is there. Now, the normal
Yeah.
respiration, abdominal respiration.
Abdominal respiration.
You can always do that on your own. You can always, whenever you're breathing in and breathing out, it's a diaphragm that is moving.
Hmm.
So consciously you're doing that. You can do that. But
Hmm.
when you consciously try to push your intercostal muscles, it's not possible.
It won't move.
They will work only when
We are running like that.
under emergency situation.
Thoracic respiration.
Correct. Understood. So
Yes.
consciously, if a breathing is done, that breathing can be your what breathing?
Abdominal breathing.
Correct. Yes. So that's it with this. So we have completed the major chunk of the chapter. The remaining is very easy.
Disorder.
No. Transport of gases is there. That is another area where you get a questions. Okay. So I think I'll see you next year then.
Tomorrow you can take.
Tomorrow.
Same time.
Tomorrow. I'm not very sure if I can. I have some other work tomorrow. So I don't
The
think
next
I
year.
think it's better we will meet up next year.
Next year, ma'am.
Yes, next year.
Next
Next
one.
Tuesday, probably. Yes,
Yeah, not next, ma'am. Don't say next Tuesday. It sounds so close.
I know. So next year is better, no?
So perfect.
Yeah. So I'll meet you next year. I'll try sending. Just text me in the evening, no?
Yes, ma'am. No
Yeah.
biology classes for the year. So happy.
Yes, for 1 full year, I'm not giving you classes, sir. You make it sound like that.
Yeah, for the rest of the year, no biology class.
Okay, cool then. Happy New Year.
Yes, ma'am. Same to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Enjoy then. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, bye. 9:30.